Hello, BookTube. Cheers. Saturday. The first sunny day we've had in a long time. Seems like it's rained all month. Sunny today, rain again tomorrow. So, what do? I go into my little room here with my books out on the porch and make a video. But I should be outside. Actually, I probably have to make 2 videos today. I have a pretty good sized book haul here. You can sort of see some of them. And then I had a book haul. I filmed a book haul from Hyde Cottage from Steve Donahue and Frida Bean that I tried to film the other day and thought I had filmed, and yeah, it didn't work out so well. So hopefully this one works. I'll start with one book haul, and then later on I'll do the Hyde Cottage book haul. So let me start here, I think, with the loose ones, because I'm actually going to have to pile them on the floor here because I just got so many. So this is edited by W.D. Wetherell. It's The American River. This American River. 5 centuries of writing about the Connecticut, which this river is right down the road here. It's the border, in my section, the border between New Hampshire and Vermont. So I live in Vermont, very close to the border. So this is University Press of New England, Hanover and London. Hanover would be right up the road, and that's where Dartmouth College is. And this is 2002. And it's just what it says it is. It's writing, that centers on the Connecticut River. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the articles, but some pretty famous writers in here. Kenneth Roberts, George Washington. Yeah, so glad to have it. I have seen it. It is something you do see around here. It's a nice copy. It was inscribed to somebody, and yeah, I picked it up. Another one here is a Vermont book. That's a New England book, but this is a Vermont book, and this is by a guy whose writing I've really always enjoyed. He does great short essays, or did. And this is Noel Perrin, and this is Best Person Rural, Essays of a Sometime Farmer. And I know people who knew him. I never knew him. He lived right up the road here. He taught at Dartmouth. There he is. And lived on a small farm here in Vermont and wrote wonderfully about it. And he did it in a series of books called First Person Rural, Second Person Rural, all that. You probably see him around a bit. And they collected what they considered the best. This is Terry Osborne, and it's David Godine, publisher out of Boston. Where did they list? No, but he also wrote Vermont Life, Country Journal, Yankee, New Yorker, those magazines. So he lived in the town where my son goes to school, my oldest boy. So then the next ones here, I sort of got a grouping of them. I've had these before. They're not always my favorite copies. Some people really like them, and that's good. They're not terrible. They would have been dust jacketed at one time, but they've been around since I was a teenager. And this set is F. Scott Fitzgerald, and this first one is Tender as the Night. It's a plain thing here. It would have been a book club, I'm pretty sure. It's Charles Scribner's and Sons, New York, and let's see, obviously 34, copyright renewal 62. So they don't really tell you much, but F. Scott Fitzgerald fans. The next one here is The Last Tycoon. Again, pretty plain, but I needed a copy. I don't know what happened to my old copies. Probably were paperbacks. This is the unfinished novel, obviously, and this from 69, originally from, looks like 41. This next one here is The Great Gatsby. A lot of folks love this novel. This was a wonderful thing. Charles Scribner's and Son again. And this one originally was 25, and I really don't see a date that makes any sense for this printing. so I'm not going to say it. Because I would be wrong. Let's see if we get on that. And then the last one of these F. Scott Fitzgerald is This Side of Paradise. So they are hardbacks, so and they'll hold up. They've held up for a long time, right? There you go. And this was originally 20, and renewal was in 48, but they're not really giving you a date on this printing. And I'm pretty sure these were book club, and if they weren't, they were not very expensive hardback. Let me straighten these up. Getting off camera a little bit, but there's absolutely no other way to pile these books up. And then very similarly here, just to fill in for now, my John Steinbeck collection. I got the short novels of John Steinbeck, again with no dust jacket here, and that's fine. And this has Tortilla Flat, The Red Pony, Of Mice and Men, The Moon is Down, Canonry Row, and The Pearl. This Viking Press out of New York. Give you for the print. And then we have The Grapes of Wrath, same set, so it'll also be Viking. And then finally, we have The Winter of Our Discontent. And Viking also. So these things will fill spots. And then here we have The Brownings, Letters and Poetry, selected with an introduction by Christopher Ricks. This is an old thing. I used to see it around a little more than I do now. Illustrations by Barnett L. Plotkin, or I. Plotkin, excuse me. So you have Elizabeth Barrett Browning, you have Selected Letters, you have Robert Browning, and just a whole bunch of poems. Let's see if they've got an illustration that's easy to find. That way I can. They said it's illustrated by. Oh, I see anything. Okay, well, it is what it is. So a nice addition to dip in and out of. I won't read that cover to cover. Then a Vermont writer who passed away a couple of years ago, who I really like. Several of his books have been made into movies. I think A Stranger in the Kingdom might be the most famous. A River Runs Through It's probably the most famous. This is Walking to Gatlinburg by Howard Frank Moser. Sometimes gets cast as a regional writer. I don't think that's totally fair. And this is from 2010. And this is a route he walks from Kingdom, the Northeast Kingdom's the northeast northern part of Vermont. It's a very interesting place if you ever get a chance to read about it. But this is the route of the fictional character. So, glad to have that. I have quite a bit of Howard Frank Moser. I didn't have that one. Then I got another grouping here, and these are the International Collectors Library. Now they're not as nice as Folio Society or Easton Press. Franklin Mint had two levels, a not so great and really nice. I think done with Oxford sets. International Collectors Libraries would be lower than that in quality, but it's better than a paperback, right? So if you get them and they look like they're in good shape, they're worth holding a place on your shelf, but just don't think you're getting a real collectible. So in this case, got Look Homeward Angel by Thomas Wolfe. They do have a little ribbon marker in them, and that has an introduction by Maxwell E. Perkins, who actually lived one town up from me. He had a summer home there. So Look Homeward Angel by Thomas Wolfe. The next one, I was really happy to find, and this is Noble House by James Covell. I liked all those novels that Covell came out with, and Taipan was probably my favorite, but I really like Noble House, so glad to have this. A big old bruiser of a thing, but glad to have it. I need to find the other one. What is it? King Rat, and there's a few others. Like I said, Taipan was my favorite. The next one of these is actually a nonfiction. It's Pocket History of the United States by Alan Nevins, Henry Steele Commager, and Jeffrey Morris. So this would have been sort of a big deal during the bicentennial in 1976, but 8th revised edition, so this might be a little later. What's this one? Date on this one? So this is 1986. Yeah, so a little after then, but A History of America, nice to have. And still with the International Collectors Library is Lamort d'Arthur. It's Keith Bain's translation, or modernization, I don't know what you'd say. It says prose rendition. So it's Mallory's Lamort d'Arthur, King Arthur and Legends of the Round Table, a brilliant prose rendition by Keith Baines, an introduction by Robert Graves is what I'm sort of excited for. And so this was originally 62, as was the Robert Graves introduction. So happy to have this. I can now lean out almost evenly and just stick them there. This one, I'm holding upside down, again, International Collectors Library, and this is Joseph Conrad's Lord Jim. And this is Garden City Doubleday, and originally came out in 1899. So glad to have this. Then moving along here, this is sort of neat. This is the Reader's Companion to Military History, edited by Robert Crowley and Jeffrey Parker. I think it was like 1996, I think. So it's Houghton Mifflin and Company, Boston and New York, and it's, 1996. If you look through it, I'll get a page with an image. So it's sort of like one of these things. It's short, but signed articles, and even sometimes have some further reading type stuff, bibliography type stuff. And they give a list of contributors, and it's quite good. If you're into maritime history, N.A.M. Rogers, hard to beat. And then, let me just see here, anybody obvious. Neil Asher Silverman did a lot of like biblical archaeology stuff. So that's pretty neat. Then we have Penelope Fitzgerald, the Knox brothers. I have heard about this volume, about her family. I've actually started reading it a little bit last night. It was very interesting. So there's Edmund, Dilwyn, Wilfred, and Ronald. And this is a Counterpoint Washington, D.C. production. So it's from 2000, but I think it's originally done in 1977, and she updated it right before her death. You can see each of them here. If I get rid of the glare, quite a good writer. So I was interested in this. I can't remember where I first heard about it. I'm just not positive. And what have I read of hers? The Bookshop, I think. Oh, Blue Flower. So yeah, good writer and an interesting nonfiction volume. And then The Beast. Oddly, I have not read any of these. I mean, a lot of people read these. I found this box set, and I will start on it probably after the turn of the new year, because I've so many booktube reading projects, it's just crazy. But this box set, Stieg Larsson, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, if I can read it here, The Girl Who Played with Fire, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and then a little volume here on Stieg Larsson. So, there's the end papers. So it's like a commemorative set, a box set that, when we come out with this, the drawing was by Christopher Peterson, and it's 2010. So these books were a big deal. See a box set for almost nothing. And try not to bend the book on the box. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll give it a shot now that it's been out for a long time, and who knows, right? So I am not going to do Steve Donahue pyramid thing or anything. So I do have the books that Steve sent me. I'll do another video on those. Try to get outside a little bit today, and hope everybody's well and enjoy your weekend. Thank you, BookTube.